Hello, listeners of Telepathy, and welcome back to yet another episode, episode 67. We are here. I really need to come up with another way to start the podcast because at this point it's like a routine, it's a ritual, it's a script.
That's so true. Well, yeah, welcome. It's shoot, I think I broke the script.
Yeah, I feel like you also have a routine. You just like, there's kind of a little pause and you're like, yes, welcome back.
Oh yes, welcome back. Sorry, I was rethinking my music shout out and I was changing that.
Oh, okay. It's
Yeah.
fine.
But anyways, welcome back. It's episode 67 and we have a really interesting topic for today that Enzo came up with. We'll be talking about like unspoken rules. And it's
We are speaking about unspoken rules today.
true. And so wait, are we doing this as a yes or pass or no?
So it's going to be kind of similar to a yes or pass style, except a little bit more brain cells and thought are going to be put into each
Yeah.
answer because we each came up with a list. And then I also referenced Google for some of just like some general societal unspoken rules. And so we can kind of analyze, do we agree with them? How have we seen them in our own lives and all of that. So the unspoken rules are becoming spoken.
Yeah. Plus, like, I was like, oh, wait, this would be a fun yes or pass. But then I was like, wait, these all should be yeses. So,
Some of them are debatable though, which is why I
oh,
think this is going
really?
to be an interesting episode.
I'm excited.
Okay, so first we're going to start off with our camp question because we do little icebreakers in every episode because gotta get the summer camp vibes and also so you guys can get to know us better and we can get to know you better. So fun. Okay, so it's my turn to come up with it. So name, age, and then what's your favorite piece of jewelry?
Ooh, that's a good
Like
one.
it can be a specific piece that you have or just like your go-to kind of.
Okay. I love that. My name's Anna. I'm 22. And my favorite piece of jewelry right now, because it changes a lot. Actually, I'm tied between a few. I have my rings, my gold rings.
Okay.
Most of them I collected in France. And also, I have my favorite necklace right now is my locket, my gold locket necklace. It's like a gold heart locket, and I got it at Brandy Melville in LA. And literally yesterday, somehow I picked it up and it had a knot in it. And first it was knotted, like both sides were knotted, and I got it out, but now there's a knot in one of the sides, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, yeah, I know what you mean.
So it's like you can't really notice it, but I'm gonna work more on trying to get it out.
I believe in
Or I
you.
might have to bring it somewhere. But, anyways, yes. What is yours?
Okay. I'm Enzo. I'm 17 and I'd say my favorite piece of jewelry is this kind of like golden shell necklace that I have and it has this mermaid's voice inside of it. I'm just kidding. Okay, let me not. Okay. I
Why did
can't
I
make Ursula
totally
jokes
like?
just yet. Like let me not get ahead of myself. Okay, scratch all of that. In fact, I actually only
I
ever
was
wear
totally following that. I was trying to I was like, wait, yeah, I think you have a shell necklace.
I do actually for my Halloween costume last year. But, anyways, I actually wear silver jewelry most of the time, and I love a layered necklace. And I normally buy them from Hot Topic. And the one that I have at the moment has a little heart on it. I've had one with a dragonfly on it before. It's kind of a rotating position. Um, it's just I always buy like some sort of silver borderline choker. Like it's like a smaller necklace. Um, and then I just wait for it to turn rose gold because it's not real silver, and then it switches to a new necklace.
Real. Me with my gold jewelry as well.
Literally. It just turns
Um,
rose gold eventually. But music and TV shout outs.
my music shout out is so I went to the Inhaler concert this week. It was amazing. And I was gonna shout out an Inhaler song, but then I was like, actually, Inhaler has a song coming out in like 2 weeks, so I can wait till then. But I'm gonna shout out their opener, which is called Benches,
Okay.
and they were really cool and fun. And this one of the songs they performed was called Crash. I honestly haven't listened to any of their songs enough yet to like specifically know which song is which, but I remember that they played a song called Crash and I remember that it was good. So that's my music shout out for the week. TV shout out.
I love that.
Let's see. Wait, I watched a movie. Oh, I was like, wait, I watched a movie last night. What was it? I watched The Corpse Bride because I was like, wait, Halloween is really close. And during Halloween week, I'll be watching Film Fest movies, so I won't have time to watch my typical Halloween movies. So I got a little head start and I watched Corpse Bride last night and I love it. And I've been watching Outer Banks. I still have one more episode left in the 5 parts that they've released so far. And I'm liking it. I love Outer Banks. I don't know.
I haven't started the third season yet, but I actually am excited to watch it. But
I feel so silly. I know we talked about this last episode, but like I feel silly saying that I like Outer Banks because I don't know why. I feel like everybody just like turned turned the tables on Outer Banks because
turn
I
the
feel like
tables.
wait, is that even
Wait,
a
turn their backs.
yeah, turn their backs.
My, have the tables turned.
No, because like I feel like the first season everyone was obsessed with it and then now everyone's like, "Oh, like I stopped watching that."
It's just, there's something about the vibe of Outer Banks that I just love for no reason.
No, wait, yeah, because you're gonna love this season. There's just also like Kiara. Is that her name, Kiara?
Yeah, she's my favorite character. Her and Cleo are my favorite, so I'm excited.
Kiara says like some of the funniest things for her environmental personality this
Oh my
season.
gosh, I'm
Like
excited.
you're gonna die. Oh my gosh, there's this whole scene too, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but like it has to do with turtles.
Oh, I cannot wait. Okay, so for my music shout out, this is really random, but I don't know where I heard this the other day. I think it was like maybe like in the car somewhere, but My Love by Justin Timberlake and T.I. This is like a very much a throwback, but I don't know why I've just been listening to it this week and it's been the vibe. If
I don't
you
even know if I can think of this off the top of my head of what
Okay,
this
if you
song
listen
is.
to it though, you'll be like, okay, Dad, this song,
Okay.
something about it, and like I know like Justin Bieber, not Justin, Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake. I know he got like a DUI recently or something, so that's not cute. That's not cool. This is just a throwback that I've been listening to this week, so I don't even know like why I'm shouting this out, but I was just listening to it. And then I caught myself listening to it again, and then I was like, okay, well, I guess it's the music shout out. And then for TV shout out, every day during lunch, me and my friends, we've just been like sitting in the car and watching Roger Rules like bit by bit every day. And so that's my movie shout out. And then I guess
Wait,
for
that's
TV show,
amazing.
wait, what?
That's just amazing. Like
Yeah,
I feel like that's gonna be so nostalgic for you. In like 5 years, you're gonna watch Roderick Rules,
like
and
senior
you're gonna
year
be
of
like,
high
"Oh, high
school
school."
when I was like sad. And then I started Heartstopper season 3 actually.
Oh,
I literally got through like episode 1. So did
I
I
have
actually
not
start
watched
it?
any of Heartstopper
Heartstopper's
before.
so like it's another one of those shows where it's really cringy, but I like cringy TV and I like the
Yeah,
characters.
maybe I'll watch that.
You should.
Yeah, I feel like I want to get back into TV again. Not that I was ever into TV, but like, I want to get, I want to, I just like the feeling of being into a show,
I just
you
don't have
know?
time. I don't know.
Same. No, same, because why has it taken me like over a week to watch the first 5 episodes of Outer Banks, which are only like 40 minutes each?
Speaking of, how was your week?
It was good. I mean, I already talked about the Inhaler concert a bit.
So true.
Nice segue. We're just so good at the segues these days.
The
But
podcasting is
yeah,
just so natural to us at this point that oh my god, I
I know.
literally forgot we were even recording. Were we doing a podcast?
Wait, wait. Oh my gosh, I thought we were
Oh
just having a
wow, I'm just so
conversation.
authentic and natural. I
I
forgot.
know. But yeah, anyways, I went home on Monday night for the Inhaler concert because they came to Raleigh, which was amazing.
Yes.
Honestly, everybody hates Raleigh now though on Inhaler Twitter because the crowd was so dead. Like it was actually so
Really?
bad. Like after people saw clips of the Raleigh show, they were like, "Come back to Europe, come back to Europe. Like America doesn't deserve you." Um, which is
Okay.
annoying.
Inhaler Twitter seems a little bit
They
toxic.
are so toxic. Like it's really bad actually. It's really bad. Anyways, but yeah, it was so fun. I got in line at like 1 p.m. and I made a friend who was really nice. And then I literally had to leave to go back home like the next morning at 7 a.m. after I went to bed at like 1. So I was just like so exhausted. But yeah, now I'm just like back in school stuff. And I've actually like had a chill weekend. Like this is the first weekend where I have just a normal amount of work. Like last night, I was literally like, I can just relax for a bit. And I have not had that in a few
Okay.
weeks. which was so nice. Like, I just didn't do anything for a few hours, which was crazy.
Love.
How was your week?
This week I submitted my first college application. I think I'm going to submit
Yay!
SCAD tonight
Yay!
just because there's really nothing to the application except for like a little bit of
Yeah, no,
portfolio stuff.
you could have applied to SCAD like a year ago.
No, literally, but I did. Speaking of portfolio, I finished my short film
Wait,
and
I have a question.
yes.
Can you can you use your short film in your portfolio for other schools, or can it only be for NYU?
Oh no, I'm doing it for all of them. Like I submitted the short film to Texas.
Okay, good.
Um, and then I accidentally,
I
well,
think
I put
SCAD
my
will love
second
it.
choice major as musical competition. What? That was in English. I put my second choice major as musical composition, and then now apparently I have to submit like a bunch of stuff for that. So I'm like, wait, how do I get out of that? Like, I actually don't want to major in that. So I have to figure that out.
Mm,
And then college apps, there's like a few supplementals that I have to do, and then just some NYU portfolio touch ups because their application is a beast, honestly. But
hmm.
I think we're there's a light at the end of the tunnel through all of this. But yeah, I think my fall play is next week.
Yeah, you're almost there.
Yeah, there's just a lot of like stressful stuff. Like my fall show is next week, so then that's almost over. But then I'm also
Oh,
simultaneously rehearsing for Ursula. So
yay.
there's just a lot going on, but I think it's not too bad. I have like a lot to do this weekend, but I think if I get it done, then this week will be very manageable. So
Yeah.
I just need to be productive.
I feel like the month of November will just feel so good. Like, you'll just have a weight lifted off of your shoulders.
I know. Or then it's auditions. So maybe after that,
Oh,
Thanksgiving break is gonna hit if like college apps are
yeah.
submitted and then everything goes well with the show. See, I'm scared
Hmm.
that I'm just gonna like it's not the end of the world if I talk a lot about it and then it doesn't happen. Like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to put that in the universe though. Anyways,
You are gonna get Ursula, though. I'm just saying, like,
okay, I hope so,
there's no other
guys.
option.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
So,
So, should we get into the topic?
wait,
What?
I was letting the unspoken rule speak for itself. Did you hear it?
I was so
You
confused.
interrupted the rule. She was speaking.
I was just literally like, what is going on?
You can't hear her though because she's unspoken.
Yes.
Um,
Okay, so should we kind of like take turns?
I think we should. I have a list. I'm so excited. So,
Me too.
do you want to
I
go
feel like we're
first?
gonna have a few of the same ones. You can go first.
Okay. So the first one that I'm starting off with is actually kind of a relevant one that I've been thinking about, and I put a question mark next to it because I don't fully know my stance on it. But if you initiated the idea, is it on you to plan everything?
Mm.
So, okay, let me just set the scene for something that happened this week, and there is no tension with this whatsoever. If anybody's listening to this, like I don't want to seem like the person that like one little thing happens in my life and then I go and talk about it on my podcast, but I was trying to make plans to go to the state fair, and keep in mind I'm not like the planning friend, but I was kind of thinking with the state fair, what normally happens is I procrastinate on asking people if they want to go, and then stuff falls through. And
Right.
I've been kind of stressed about it because I made a group chat and I was like, I've gathered everybody here to ask if you want to go to the state fair this year. I was thinking this day, but like what other days would work? And so we've kind of been like discussing things, but I've been kind of stressed because I feel like now it's on me to plan it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was wondering what your thoughts were. Like, okay, this is kind of just a big yap fest, but I think that if it's something like a birthday party or a holiday party or it's something that like you're hosting, it is on you to obviously sort out the details.
Right.
But I think if it's something like maybe the fair or
Something more
you're
casual.
like, hey, do you guys want to go out to dinner? Maybe if you initiated the idea, then you can be the one to get the dinner reservation and stuff. But after you've put it out there and kind of discussed it with everyone, I feel like now it's a collective, like this plan is now everybody's child. And you
Yeah.
all have to like put in work to
Yeah.
make things
I think
work. I don't
I
know.
I think I agree with that because obviously if you're hosting, like being a host is literally unspokenly saying like I'm gonna plan this whole event and you're just gonna show up and it'll be
Right.
fun, you know? Unless I tell you to bring something. which we can get into this later, but like you can offer to ask if you can help with anything at like a big party, which, you know, is up to you if you want to decide to do that or not. But anyways, I think if it's something more casual, like a hangout, like at a state fair, you know, the state fair, or I have an example. Like when I was at in my internship over the summer, the interns we were all like hanging out at this kind of like final intern get together at work, which was literally just like the recruiters brought like a box of cookies and we ate them and sat in a
Uh,
circle and it was really awkward. But anyways, like one of the interns was like, or some of the interns that are more local in LA and I think they go to UCLA or something, they were like, we should
UCLA?
we should all yeah. They were like, we should all hang out or we should all go out one night this weekend. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so fun. And everyone was like, yeah, that sounds so fun. And then in the intern group chat, the girl who kind of proposed the idea texted at one point, like, we should go out. She kind of just said it again, but over text, like, we should go out one night this
Right.
weekend. And we were all like, yeah. And then I kind of waited for her to suggest. I feel like that type of person, when you suggest the idea, you should also suggest like the times. You should kind of be the leader on like the times and the reservations and stuff. But then everyone needs to have an equal part in saying like, yes, that works, or like people just need to respond. And nobody was responding. And she also wasn't proposing times or dates or anything. And then like the day of on Saturday, I was like texting some of the other interns in a separate group chat and I was like, "So is anything happening tonight or what?" And then they were like, one of us should text in the group chat and ask. And so I texted and I was like, are we doing anything tonight? And then the girl was like, yeah, maybe we should talk about it. And then, like, no, there was no further text after that. Like, that was the last text on the group chat ever.
See, I feel like that kind of goes with this unspoken rule because I think it's unspoken that because this girl had the idea, she should be kind of a little bit more of a leader and having a say of when are we doing this, where are we going in terms of that. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it can't just be this type of thing where it's like your manager texting a bunch of announcements and stuff and you kind of just sit back and are like, okay, whatever. Like you need to have a part in the communication process of it. And this is just a general thing, not specific to the state fair situation, because that, like, there's no beef. Like, I'm literally going with some of my best friends. So that was just something that was fresh on my mind. But
Yeah.
obviously, all love. And I'm so excited for the fair now. But I think that's kind of an interesting one.
Yeah. Like, I definitely think it has layers. And it also just goes back to that whole, I feel like we talked about this concept of communication over text a few episodes ago.
Hmm.
And yeah, honestly, that's just one of my biggest pet peeves is when people can't communicate over text properly.
I agree. And that is a
Like,
frustrating thing. But
like I understand being a bad texter, but like, I don't know. I just
no, I can be a bad texter, but
like communication is literally my biggest value in life. Like, I
I
don't.
know. And I feel like I'm sometimes bad at planning because I don't know, like, what to say. But at least it's better than just not texting. It's like, don't just sit back. Like, please answer. Like, we can't figure anything out if you don't answer.
Okay, I have a good one, and I think this could have layers as well.
Okay.
Like not calling people while you're hanging out with someone else or like in the car with someone else. Like being on the phone while you're hanging out while you're supposed to be hanging out with another person or in the car with another person.
Oh, I completely agree. Whether it's somebody's friend or somebody's boyfriend or something, if you're spending time with somebody, your time should be spent with that person and not
Yeah.
50% with them and then the other 50% you're texting or on the phone. Like, I get maybe if your friend is calling you or something about, hey, I have a question on the homework. What did you get for this? And then you answer them, like, that's fine. But especially if you're talking about other plans, oh Lord, like, no, 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 no.
Yeah, definitely not talking about other plans. But there have been so many instances recently, I don't know why, where I've been in the car and there's been not like my direct friend, but like another person
Hmm.
that's been on the phone. Like when I was in LA, my friend had one of her friends come visiting for the weekend And like literally so often she would be on the phone like while we were hanging out. Like we went to breakfast and then she had to leave to go on the phone. And I was just kind of like, yeah, like I mean, do what you need to do, but at the same time like we enjoy hanging out with you, so we don't like you can be on the phone at a different time.
Yeah, I agree.
Like texting is one thing, like I'm sometimes okay, like it's not like that big of a deal if you have to text someone real quick, but like going out, stepping out for like a phone conversation is like what?
No, we've all been in this situation before. Like, I feel like we know the clear difference between just responding a text or answering a quick call versus low key diverting your attention away from the person you're with to somebody
Yeah.
else. Okay.
Okay, what's
My
your
next
next
one
one?
is if you are driving, you get the executive decision for music. Doesn't mean that everybody else in the car can't communicate and offer input on what to play, especially since you're driving and you're not on your phone choosing what to play. Um, I think that obviously everyone else should have some input, but I think that if you are the driver and you are transporting everybody, that you should get the executive decision on what is being played, especially if it's your car. Well, if you're driving, it's probably your
Yeah.
car.
I guess that also works for like the driver can delegate the person with who's on aux.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like playing my own music when I'm driving, but then sometimes I don't know what to play and I'm just like, okay, wait, do you want to play music?
Yeah, but
So,
you have the executive decision to
right,
say that. So,
right. Yeah, I'm kind of neutral about that one because it kind of just depends. Like sometimes I feel like the other unspoken rule is that the person in the passenger seat always has executive on music. But it depends on
I
who
kind
you're
of
with.
agree. Like I see both sides, but also I think maybe I should reword this that if you're in the car and somebody's driving you and they're playing their own music, you don't get the right to hate on their music because they're driving you.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that a lot of these I feel like I feel one way about it, but then I think about it in terms of the four of us, so meaning Anna, my
Yeah.
sister, and then her brother, and then me. I think about it like that. And when we're in road trips, and normally it's like the driver is the one that gets told, no, we're not playing that.
Yeah.
So it's
We
like,
like
it's the complete opposite, but
no,
I
yeah.
still feel that way about the world.
It's yeah, that's so true. Like I feel like we hate on each other's music so much on car trips.
No, it's like, okay,
Like
it's not like, okay, what should we play? It's, okay, what do you guys want to play? Can we play this? Like, no.
yeah, or it's like we're like, and so you can have the aux for a bit, and then you play like one too many Nicki Minaj
It's
songs,
like
and then
one Nicki Minaj
Carolina's
song.
like,
It's like, all right, you're done. And it's like, guys.
yeah, that's so funny.
Or we'll have a
I love
playlist.
though that we, yeah. Well, I wait. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say that we have a big playlist, like a group playlist that everybody adds to. And every time when a Kirk songs come up, like Kalina's always like, ah, I can tell Kirk added this one.
Yeah, and but I love that we have a lot of music that we can all agree on too, and that
Oh,
will
for
never get
sure.
old.
Like honestly,
Like Declan McKenna.
it's like I feel like we don't get along as well as I would. No, like okay, wait. So, in my morals, I'm like, okay, the driver should have the executive decision, but it's the complete opposite when it's the four of us in the car. Yeah, it's the most civil.
Yeah,
Like it's the most civil interaction. I don't know how to. I feel like I'm dragging this out. So
it's the most honest but the most civil interaction.
exactly that. Okay, that's exactly what I was trying to say.
Yeah, because we're like we will call someone out if they're playing music that we don't want to listen to.
For sure. For sure.
That's
So
so
what's the
funny.
next one?
Okay, my next one is using headphones when you're watching TikToks or listening to music in public.
Absolutely. I think I saw this one when I was researching, but that
Yeah.
is a no-brainer. Like if you're in public, don't make what you're watching everybody's business.
Yeah, like most of the time I'm not even annoyed. I'm more just like why would you want to not use headphones? Because I would just be self-conscious. Like I even use headphones when I'm home alone. I don't know why. It's also just because I I feel like I like the sound quality of having it right in my ear, but I'm just such a headphones user that like I never understand when people don't use headphones.
Right. Like if you're listening to telepathy and you're in public and it's connected to a big speaker and it's really loud and everybody can hear it. I feel like that's one thing, but if you're just like watching TikToks, then like put your fucking AirPods in. I'm just kidding.
That was so funny. I just know that my mom's gonna laugh at that one.
Oh, yeah. I was telling Anna this actually the other day, but every time I'm editing the podcast, I think to myself, what would Anna's mom think about this episode? Is she
Yeah,
gonna like this one? Like we do it all
yeah,
for her. Like Anna's mom is the reason why this podcast goes on every week.
yeah, exactly. Can I also put in another one of mine? This that kind of goes along
Yes,
with
please
this
do.
past one. Okay. So I saw this interesting, I was on like a Reddit forum of unspoken rules, and I saw this interesting thing brought up kind of along these lines. And so normally people would say, don't talk to someone when you're wearing headphones.
Okay.
But this person said, what if it's don't talk to someone who's wearing headphones?
Oh,
You know? And I was like, I'm kind of more on that side because sometimes when I'm wearing headphones, I I'm usually fine with people talking to me, but like I start to get annoyed if people keep continuing a conversation when I'm wearing headphones.
I don't know. I feel like if somebody's in the grocery store line and they have headphones on and they're just like in your way, I feel like you should be able to say, excuse me, and
Yeah.
be like, hello, I'm trying to get past or something.
I think it depends on the situation for sure.
Right. I can see if somebody's on a walk and they have headphones, obviously you can wave to get like a greeting across. I don't think you have to be like, good morning, how are you? And then make them think like, wait, is this person trying to talk to me? Like you can wave, you can smile, but I think that if somebody's wearing headphones on a walk and you are like trying to say something to them, if it's friendly, I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't because also for me personally, like I feel like somebody said something to me while I'm walking before with headphones on and I don't hear them. And immediately my heart rate increases because I'm like, oh my God, like what is this person saying? Are they gonna like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
I usually don't wear headphones in public. Literally, like the only time I wear headphones in, I just like don't, the only time I use headphones in public is say in class if we're having independent work time or like on an airplane or on a train or on, on a form of
Yeah.
transportation. Like, well, if I'm sitting next to somebody on an airplane and they're wearing headphones, I'm not just gonna start a conversation with them.
Right. If you're going to the grocery store alone or something and you need a little bit of background music, yeah, wear some headphones, but also I think it's good to be aware of your surroundings. I don't
Right.
know. Like I don't want to
Definitely
have
at the
music super
grocery store.
loud and not know what's going on
Yeah.
around me because that stresses me out.
Yeah, like if I were to be, I've considered sometimes wearing headphones at a grocery store, but I never have gotten to that point yet. But if I ever did, I would make it quiet enough to where I can like, be aware of my surroundings and like if somebody says excuse me, I can hear it.
Yeah.
So I think there's some unspoken societal rules about how to use headphones in public.
Right. Okay, maybe I'll do my next two also because one of them is pretty short.
Okay.
The next one is passenger princesses pay for gas too. If you're on a road
Mm.
trip and I think you have to stop for gas, it shouldn't just be on the driver. But also, if you drive somebody like literally 15 minutes away and then you're asking for like a full tank of gas money, like babes, they use like maybe 10
I
miles.
don't know about this one. I'm kind of torn about this one.
Okay.
So, like it depends. If it's like yeah, if it's like you're driving someone and you're gonna get through your full tank of gas with them, I think that's a good idea to split it. I guess I haven't had that situation too many times where I've used a full tank of gas with someone, but like for example, when you guys visited LA, I
Yeah.
had I had you split because we were literally driving so much. Like I
Oh,
went,
yeah.
and gas is so expensive there.
In
It just
LA,
makes
it's like to
sense.
go anywhere, you have to go on the highway and do all of
Yeah,
this. So,
yeah, but like I've driven my friends home to my house before from Savannah, and I don't think I had them pay for gas, but at the same time, you can like that person can pay for other things. So for example, like when I drive my friends to the beach, usually I have my friends help pay for parking.
yeah.
Or like me and Maggie in LA, I feel like one of us would drive and one would pay for parking, except Maggie would always pay for parking and then I'd be like, let me Venmo you for half of it, or let me Venmo you for it. And she'd be like, no, no. But I'm like, it just makes sense. Like, you're driving, like, I'm gonna pay for parking. So I don't know. I think it just depends on who you're with as well.
Yeah, there's a few situations where I think it's a little bit different, but I think it should still be equal. And I guess maybe a better way to word it now would be passenger princesses aren't excused from paying for things.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can, just
Yeah.
because you're not driving doesn't mean that you don't have to do anything for parking or gas or any of that. Because I think you should help out and just make it equal, you know?
Right. Especially if you don't have a car, like if you're not gonna be eventually paying them back by driving another time, you know? Like for example,
Yeah,
me and Maggie, or like me and roommates always kind of just take turns driving if we're going somewhere together. So like, yeah, it's like either make it equal somehow.
I agree. Okay, this next one is kind of a question because I'm not totally sure. Like I agree with this, but it's one of those that's very specific to the situation.
Okay.
But if you talk about plans in front of somebody they're invited to now,
Mm,
I think I would agree with this. Obviously there's times where like if you're talking about your family Christmas party in front of somebody,
right.
you don't have to invite your friend that you're talking about it in front of, obviously. But I think that if you're just mentioning a future event and you're just talking about it in great detail in front of somebody, you should invite them too. Like, don't be that person that just gives somebody FOMO for fun. So I would say if you have no intention of bringing this person along, just don't talk about it in front of them.
Yeah, I usually try to not talk about other plans in front of someone, definitely. Um, there have been a few times, like a month ago, I was talking about my birthday party in front of somebody, and then I just ended up inviting her because I was like, oh, well, you can come too, actually. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. I would definitely just say, like, try to avoid talking about plans in front of somebody, like, in general.
Yeah, I think that these all equate to a greater unspoken rule. Like the greatest unspoken rule of them all is read the room.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like, just don't be stupid. Just use common
Don't be
sense.
stupid. Telepathy 2024.
Like, literally just use common sense. My next one is not walking past people on a sidewalk in more than like two people, shoulder to shoulder. But preferably, just like if you're in a big group, just turn it into a single file line when you're about to pass someone, you know?
Yes.
Because there's no need for three people shoulder to shoulder to be walking on a sidewalk and then the other person trying to pass by.
Yes, this also applies to public high school hallways.
Mm-hmm.
Please and thank you.
Yes. I feel like this one's pretty obvious, but like so many people I feel like don't follow this rule. I'm kind of scared that I've accidentally done this before because honestly, like when you're talking to somebody in a group on a sidewalk or whatever, sometimes you zone out or you're only focused on, you don't think about your surroundings. So it could be easier to just like let that happen, you know?
Right. Let me clarify that I do break a lot of these rules all the time. Just because I'm saying like it's my unspoken rule doesn't mean that if somebody breaks it that I'm gonna cut them off and never speak to them again. And we talked about doing a pet peeves episode, so we can discuss more about that in these.
We should
But
so do
I
that.
feel like a lot of these are just some like random thoughts and feelings.
Hmm.
But if you don't follow these rules, I don't think it's the end of the world.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, okay. So, along the lines of planning things, if you move the plans around for one person, you have to move it around for everybody. So, let's say you suggest an idea for a party or whatever, and somebody says, I can't do this date. So, you go, okay, let's do this date. And then now somebody else can't do that. Like, I feel like now you have to make it work for everybody because you
mm,
shifted it around for one person. You have to do that for everybody now. Thoughts and feelings?
yes. Yeah, I agree. Typically, like for my birthday party, I just beforehand I texted everybody and was like, I have two dates, tell me which one works better. And then based on that, I planned my birthday, but I didn't let people know like who I was not gonna be inviting. It kind of,
Yeah.
I was thinking of something. Something came to my mind when you were saying that, but I forgot what it was. But it was something else about like, yeah. Anyways, I'm not gonna be able to think of it.
Okay, if it comes up, just interrupt me and say it because when the light bulb goes off, the light bulb goes off.
Go off light bulb. Okay.
You go off light bulb.
You
Wait, I
go off
love
light
that.
bulb. That
That
could be
light bulb
another one
went
of our merch.
off.
That could be another one of our merch ideas.
Oh, we should have like a millennial t-shirt collection. Wait, I feel like a lot of our sayings are
Ooh,
so millennial, so we should make like an ironic millennial merch line.
yes. That would be so funny. And I feel like they would be things that like Pretty Basic would actually have as merch.
Well, we love Pretty Basic, but they are millennials, so that would make
Yeah.
sense. But we love Pretty Basic. Invite us on or come on our podcast. Either
Yeah.
works. Thank you.
My next one is replacing the toilet paper if you finished it, if you took the last toilet paper. And this could go for like
Yes.
anything else really, but especially toilet paper. Just like it takes like 2 seconds to just put a new roll on, as long as you can find the roll. Actually, I lied because I literally did not replace it yesterday, but that's because I used the last one and the rest of the toilet paper refills are in my roommate's room, and I didn't want to go into her room and search for it.
Yeah.
But I
I mean,
felt
I
like that
second
made
this
sense.
one. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Retweets, repost.
But yeah, for the most part, like, yeah, if I go into the bathroom and the toilet paper is empty, I'm like,
Yeah. Okay, this next one, I think we're going to be both pretty passionate about it, but don't scream sing at concerts. If you
mm,
can't hear the artist over somebody that is next to you, you're probably singing too loud. And people are like, I paid for my ticket and I'm here to just sing all my favorite songs. We all know there's a very, very clear line with this.
yeah,
And it's pretty obvious if you're just ripping your throat out and making everybody around you want to die.
yeah. Like, there's a difference between singing along to everything at a normal level versus just like being annoying, you know? And
Yeah.
I definitely I sing along to things at a normal level. And I'm trying to think of a situation where someone's been really annoying. I feel like more for me when I think of concert unspoken rules, I think of like when you're in the pit and people in between acts or like before the opener starts or whatever, just people like pushing or being in your space. I mean, okay, in the pit it makes sense being you have to be in people's space, but like there are people who are a little bit too over the top about it. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, at the Nicki Minaj concert, like 2 people away from me, there was this guy and he had this sign, no hate to him, but it was like Nicki signed me to heavy on it, and then it had like a little USB of his music. And I'm like, okay, that's cute. But also like every time Nicki would come anywhere near us, he would just like wave the sign aggressively and she like glanced at it, but like she's not gonna take a USB drive from some random person in the audience.
Yeah.
She's not just gonna sign somebody in the like in the audience. Like it's just not gonna happen. She's in
Yeah,
the middle
that's so weird.
performing. Like just don't do it. Like you're just honestly diverting her attention away from everybody
Mhm.
around you because she's trying to pretend that she can't see it, which is kind of real. But
Yeah.
you didn't hear that from me.
I
Anyways,
feel like we could do a whole episode on concert etiquette. Like
right. Did we do an episode on that or am I dumb?
we did I think we did something similar, but not literally just concert etiquette.
I think there's just a few topics that we haven't done episodes on, yet we come back to them in every episode.
Right.
So we've talked about concert etiquette at the least.
It would be interesting to talk about people who are super tall at concerts, which I mean, I guess you are super tall.
Okay.
Okay, I guess it's like fine because you can't control your height, and just because you're taller doesn't mean you don't deserve to be closer, but like it does make me really sad when like I'm right behind a really tall person and I can't see. But I don't really know what to do in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of squat down a little bit and become everyone else's height, but I think that also sometimes like as a tall person at a concert, sometimes people think that they just have the right to like push in front of you
Mhm.
and it's like
Right.
no, like I'm still a human being here. And it's like I can understand like I would rather me be 2 feet not as close to the stage and have somebody in front of me rather than being that 2 feet closer and then the person behind me can't see. Like, I don't want that. But also, I think there's a lot of times where people will use it just to kind of, like, push you out of the way, and it's like, "No, like, I'm really not in the way." Like, I'm squatting down to become everyone
Mhm.
else's height, So don't.
Yeah, yeah, see, at least you're like aware of your height and like trying to do what you can. Like,
Right,
I
and I'm
think
I'm not
that's
the
what
tallest person on
matters.
the earth, so I've been there before with somebody else taller than me and just knowing the feeling of them just standing there and it's kind of like, "Okay, can you not just plant your feet in one place and block everyone's view for 2 hours?"
Mm-hmm.
So I get it.
Yeah. This one's kind of like something I feel like I heard a lot said throughout my life, but like don't text for work or like don't text for a request late at night, like past 10 p.m. or something. Or like don't call someone past 10 p.m. unless you like, you know, don't call someone out of the blue at 10 p.m. unless it like is it, unless it makes sense.
Yeah. I would say okay, so for work, I would say it's okay to text maybe late at night if you're okay with not receiving a response immediately. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like if you are texting
Mhm.
about a shift in 2 weeks or something and it's 9 PM, I don't know, maybe you could like start the message off by saying like, "Hey, this is not urgent." So maybe they can see that part and be like, "Okay."
Right.
So maybe that's fine, but I would say don't obviously call out of work. Like if it's the night before your morning shift, you just can't call out of work unless it's absolutely an
Mhm.
emergency and you have to. But yeah, don't do that. And I would say if you're calling somebody at a very suspicious hour, and if it's like a friend or something, I would just preface and be like, LOL, I'm bored and just want to talk. Because you don't want to have
Yeah.
this person thinking like, I'm stranded on the side of the road and I need you to come right now because you don't know the context
Right.
of a phone call. So that's what I have to say
Oh my
about
gosh.
that.
Literally, like last year, my brother Kirk, he called me. He never calls me. He called me at like 12:30 or 1 in the morning,
Hmm.
and he never calls me. And he always takes forever to respond to texts as well. So I'm like, I was already asleep, and I woke up like 3 minutes after he called me, and I looked at my phone and I saw that he called me, and then I started like freaking out because I was like,
Yeah.
why is he calling me at 1 in the morning? And then so I called him and I was like half asleep. Like I literally think I was partly sleep talking to him. Um, because he ended up having to be like, Anna, go back to sleep. But he had called me just to tell me that he watched Black Swan and that it was really good.
Oh, Black Swan is so good though.
It is. And I was like, okay, like, yes. But like I literally got so scared.
No, yeah. Ever since my car accident, actually, whenever I'm like driving home from school, like whenever I'm somewhere where my mom knows that I'm driving home, for example, just the time when school gets out and I call her or something, if she doesn't answer, I will always leave a voicemail. It's like, hey, not an emergency, just saying, hey, love you, bye.
Mm,
Because ever since, which, okay, like she answers my phone calls a lot, obviously, and, like decently fast too. But I will say, I swear it was like motherly instinct because when I called her when I got in my car accident, like I don't even think the phone rung once. Like I literally just called her and it was like, hello.
oh,
It was
really?
like she knew. So I was like, ugh, Mama
Yeah.
Bear, like, yes.
Yeah, like, and yeah, I'm not somebody who I just know that that's an unspoken rule to like don't call about work or like don't call a coworker or make a request late at night. But like I don't really mind. Like I'm a night owl and I'm okay with getting things late at night. And also my phone is always on um no vibration, no ringer, no anything. So nobody's gonna wake me up if they text anything. Because there have been a few times when like I was doing an illustration for somebody and she was in Europe and she accidentally texted me when it was like 3 in the morning for me, which I don't care. Like, I
Hmm.
literally didn't even notice. But then later she was like, oh my gosh, did I text you at like 3 in the morning? I'm so sorry. And I was like, no, it's like totally fine. But she's a millennial, and I feel like the millennial generation probably was told, I feel like that unspoken rule was very important for them. Because also that was when phones and, cell phones became more of a thing.
I feel like my screen time is bad, so I feel like I don't even have the right to set operating hours for my phone. I'm like, if I'm gonna go on it this much and doom
Hmm.
scroll, then I might as well answer when somebody texts me.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
Your turn.
my next one. Okay, I don't know why a lot of these are about hosting, but if somebody is hosting an event in their house or they're making the initiative to reserve a space, offer to bring something, whether it's drinks,
This was
dessert, an
this was my next
appetizer.
one. This is
Really?
my next one too.
Telepathy.
Telepathy.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, offer to bring something. Like, I will always be the one to be like, "Ugh, do you want me to bring dessert
Yeah,
or something like that?" You
for
know?
sure.
I feel like it's just polite.
I kind of had to learn this. Like I knew that was a thing, but like a few years ago, I had kind of like it had kind of not crossed my mind for a bit, but then my roommate Maggie always offered to like bring cookies or something to things. And then I was like, "Oh wait, I should start doing that." So now I always ask or I bring something.
Yeah,
I guess it just depends. Like if it's an official party, I would say yes. If it's just like a hangout, it depends.
for sure.
Okay, my next one is the have you heard of like the 5 minute rule for like someone's appearance? Like
Yes, like if it
if
takes more than, or I thought it was like 30
yeah.
seconds or something too, I've heard before.
Oh yeah, yeah. If it takes more than or if it takes less than either keeps disconnecting.
This is so weird. Like, you
Why
don't
does
see me
this keep
pressing
happening?
anything.
Maybe there's a ghost in my room and it's ending the
Literally, it
call.
keeps like randomly hanging up the call, but
Well,
okay.
our unspoken rule is that Enzo always calls me for
That's so true because I think it's
FaceTime
just the unspoken
because
rule that if there's any sort of technology glitch, it's honestly usually my fault. It's usually my Wi-Fi or something weird like that. So,
um but yeah, if somebody can change or adjust something about their appearance in under 30 seconds or 5 minutes, whichever one you abide by, tell them. So like if they have a piece of spinach in their teeth or if their hair has something weird going on with it, that can be fixed in 5 minutes or less. Let them know.
right,
But
like,
don't make comments about like, "Oh, you have like a pimple,"
right, because it's like
or tell Carolina that she has a cold sore.
I probably know that this giant pimple is on my face. I don't need you to remind me, you know?
Yeah.
So I completely agree with
Yeah.
that one.
Sometimes if somebody has spinach in their teeth, I get like nervous at first telling them. I don't know why, but like then if I have spinach or something in my teeth and I realize later on that I went the whole time and nobody told me, I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, no, I'm like, oh, you're all fake.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I'm convinced if I'm like, you have spinach in your teeth, this person will be like, oh, do I? Well, your makeup's ugly. Like, why am I convinced that they're going to do that?
I know. I always get nervous like telling someone something like that, but I know I should.
Right. Because I feel like I would want somebody to tell me.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this can be my last one. And I feel like I have a good place to end it. Or did I
Okay.
skip one of these? Oh, okay. Wait, no, I do have two more.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. Don't come into a business 10 minutes before closing. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like there's some people who will think that because a business closes at 9 and they came in at 8:59 that they're like, "Oh, perfect timing." No, because by the time you order and get all your stuff, it is past 9 o'clock. So, no, it's not perfect timing. You're actually just inconveniencing people. But what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on this?
I don't know. I'm kind of torn. Like technically if it closes at 9, like you
Yeah.
have every right to go in there at 8:59 as long as you're not as long as it's a quick. Okay, I think the thing should be you should get to a restaurant or not a restaurant. You should get to an establishment and intend to be out at the closing time. Like
See, I
if you're
agree, but I
gonna
think if you come in at 8:59, that's not going to
yeah, yeah,
happen.
yeah. So you should come in at like if you come in at 8:55, you need to get out at 8:59.
Yeah.
So yeah, like coming in, yeah, I agree. I think it's coming in at 8:59. You technically have the right to go in at that time, but I think you should intend you should do everything in your power to be out by the closing time.
Right.
And
Like
if
if you
that
do
means
that, it's like, yeah, I'm going to take your order, but you better be ready and
yeah,
know what you want
yeah.
because
Oh my gosh, yeah, it happened so many times when I was working at Starbucks that it's like the people who come that late are also the ones who take the longest. Like once somebody had like a 7 drink order at like 2 minutes before closing time, and we were like, what the heck?
see, I feel like that's like you can't. It's an unspoken rule
Also,
because
why are you ordering?
that's not going to be
Yeah,
done. It's not going to be finished by the time you're closed.
yeah, and why are you ordering Starbucks at 10:29 p.m.
Right?
for
Like, do you
seven
want to
people?
sleep? Also, me continues to talk about how caffeine does not affect me at all. But like, I don't know.
Yeah. My next one is don't take up both armrests on an airplane or at a theater or anywhere that you share an armrest with people.
Yes, 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 yes.
You can use
This,
one. Everyone gets one armrest, unless you're on an aisle seat.
I think also sometimes another unspoken rule can be that the person on the aisle gets the left side armrest, the person on the right, or the person in the window seat gets the one to their right.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I think the person in the middle should get both because they don't have as much
Mm,
room.
yeah.
But also, I think that everybody should have at least one armrest, and that's like you should not be taking two.
Yeah. I like the idea of letting the middle seat person take two. I
Yeah,
think that should become more of an unspoken rule because I don't think I've experienced that.
yeah. All of my middle seat experiences have not been good. So, except when I'm with my mom, my sister on my left and right, because we will all invade each other's personal space with
Mm-hmm.
pleasure. I'm just kidding.
Okay, what's your
Oh,
next one?
okay. This is my final one, and I think this is a good one to conclude it, but I'm not a psychic, so don't get mad at me if I can't read your mind. Like, if you are trying to kind of drop a hint at something, let's say you're talking with somebody and you're at a cafe and you want to keep hanging out with them at their house after, don't just drop hints about it and then be mad when they don't invite you.
Mm,
Say what you want. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that
mm-hmm.
if you're not explicitly saying what you want, then you can't get butthurt if somebody's not reading your mind.
Yeah, I would say that. But I would say also like don't don't invite someone over to your house.
Oh, no, for sure. I feel like the inviting to your house might have been a bad example.
Or wait, don't invite yourself to someone else's
For
house. I
sure.
meant I said don't invite someone over to your house.
But I would say just instead of saying, like, oh, like, what are you doing tomorrow? And then if somebody's like, oh, I'm doing this, and they're like, ugh, okay. If that was your way, if your way of saying, can we do
Mm,
something tomorrow, is saying, what are you doing tomorrow? And then the person answers just like, oh, this is what I'm doing. Don't be mad when they aren't like, oh, let's do something, because they can't read your mind if that's what you're
yeah,
implying.
that's true.
But also, there's sometimes where it's like, yeah, like,
Mm-hmm.
just take a hint. So I do get that.
Yeah,
But I think this does apply to unspoken rules because if you have like a particular unspoken rule, don't get mad at somebody if they don't read your mind and know that this is something that's like very important to you.
right. Yeah, I can be bad at taking hints, so I would definitely.
Me too. Me too. That's why I get stressed. That's why I always want people to say what they want and how they're feeling because sometimes I'm scared. I'm like, wait, are you implying something? And I just have no idea. Like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm sorry.
exactly. My last one is this is kind of like we can debate about this. This has layers, but it's kind of something that I've been doing or that I do is like
Okay.
if someone is telling a story and they're interrupted with like a side note or you interrupt them with a side note, which is fine, which is usually fine in my case, just be sure in the end to when you finish your side note be like, "Oh, and what were you saying?" Or like, you know what I mean?
I absolutely agree with
Because
this.
I sometimes think that like a side note, like a brief side note from a story is fine. Like whenever I interrupt somebody, I'm not like trying to be mean. I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, wait. This is like," but then I make sure to be like, "Sorry, continue," or like, "What were you saying?" Like I don't just be rude about or I acknowledge that I interrupted them.
Right. Like at the end of the day, it's a dialogue. So you are talking back and forth, and it's not just going to be somebody talks for 2 minutes and then the other person talks for 2 minutes, unless you're having like a presidential debate. But if you're having just like a conversation, then obviously you can go back and forth and stuff, but just make sure that you're, you know, listening when the other person is talking, and that if you do have something to add to the conversation, but the person was entirely done with a large story, make sure that you acknowledge that you do want to hear the rest of the story because that person was talking.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's just nice to like acknowledge that you are aware that they were the leader of that story and that they were interrupted and that they should like continue, you know, like it makes me feel good when somebody says like, "Oh, continue," because then I don't feel like I was being talked over.
I
Because
agree.
that's the worst feeling when you're like trying to say something and then people keep like butting in on other stuff, but then there's that one person who's like waiting for you to continue, and they're like, let's let Anna finish her story.
Yes. Okay. Were you finished with your story? And I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah, I was actually.
Love. Okay, I honestly loved this episode.
Yeah, this was fun. I
I
think
feel
a
like I'm gonna
pet
keep.
peeves. I feel like a pet peeves one is going to be really interesting. But what were you saying? Sorry, continue.
Oh, wait, no, the way, like, as soon as we started talking at the same time, I'm like, okay, wait, hold up. We're putting this to the test. But yeah, this was a fun episode, and I'm gonna keep thinking about this because I think the unspoken rules are fun to think about because it really lets you reflect on your own personal morals and kind of
Mm-hmm.
where you stand on certain stuff.
Because I've
And
definitely been on both sides of these things. Like, I'm not perfect,
yeah,
and I have not abided by all of these ever.
oh, for sure. Like, it's not black and white. I think that we all have like different views on some of this. I feel like it's just fun to like talk about and think about. So yeah,
I think we should do a part two to this eventually. We should just like keep a
yes.
note of whenever we think of an unspoken rule, or our own personal notes, and then we can do a part two.
Because I know I'm going to think about so many more, but I think this was a longer episode actually. So
Mm-hmm.
if you stayed till the end, thank you so much. Make sure to follow at the Telepathy Pod on Instagram to
Wait,
keep updated. And also,
I never said the
oh,
playlist.
the Telepathy playlist.
Yes. By the way, if you want to listen to our playlist, you can go to our Instagram at the Telepathy Pod. We have a highlight with a link to the Spotify playlist where we put all of our songs. But yeah, also just follow us on Instagram in general to keep up with when we post, which is usually on Tuesday or always on Tuesdays and usually every Tuesday.
Yes. And we'll have a question poll, of course, for you to put your own personal unspoken rules.
Yes.
And also feel free to debate some of these with us in our DMs because they are always open. And you can text us at 3 a.m. because, yeah,
Yeah, just because.
because you can.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you guys next week with another episode.
Next Tuesday. Bye, guys.
Bye.